Jenny from Japan Trip, and today I'm going to talk you through how to check your train itinerary using the Hyperdia Japan train website. So you can see here we've got the option to have the timetables in Japanese, English or Chinese. Obviously we're going to use English today. A lot of the stations in Japan have the information in English as well, so it's really easy to use the trains in Japan. So we'll just start by typing in the city we want to leave from. You can see it comes up with lots of different suggestions. So if you were perhaps saying by the Skytree, you might want to pick that exact station. We're just happy to go from Tokyo Central today. And we want to go to Kyoto. So there's Kyoto come up as well. Then we just select the date we want to travel. So let's say we're going to go next month on the 20th. And the rough time we want to depart. So I don't want to get up too early. Let's make it 10 a.m. So you can see, you can also set it by departure time or arrival time. So if you need to be in Kyoto for a certain time, say to catch a tour bus, or you need to be in time to see a show, you've got tickets for the sumo or something, and you need to be in town by a certain time, you can set your arrival time as well. So we're going to just go with departure on this one. Let's close that as well. You've got this then button called More Options. So if you just click on this, you see you get these options to select maybe via which station you go, what type of fare you're going to get. So we'll just select ticket at the moment. Now, if you're looking at this because you're thinking about buying a Japan Rail Pass, it's really important that you untick airplane and you untick Nozomi, Mizuho and Hayabusa, as these types of trains are like super express trains, and the Japan Rail Pass isn't valid on these trains because they're really, really fancy. But you can get the normal bullet train Shinkansen, which is still pretty fancy. So don't feel like you're missing out too much. We also need to untick private railway. There's several local railway companies in Japan that maybe run just a short route between two towns, but the Japan Rail Pass is only valid on railways that are run by the Japan Railway Group. So we've got our city of departure, where we want to go to, the time, the rough date we want to leave, and then we've also unticked the aeroplane and the Super Express trains, and we've kept ticked Japan Railway. So you just press search. It should find us all the trains that fulfill that criteria. Now you see, it's given us quite a lot of detail already. So this is the best route that fits our criteria. So you can see it's going to take 164 minutes. There's no change. We don't need to change trains. You can see the distance. You can see the total, and then you can see the seat fee. So you can choose to have an unreserved seat, which takes away your, which reduces your seat fee. But it is really worth getting a reserved seat. It doesn't change the price that much, and it just gives you the peace of mind that you're going to have somewhere to sit. And I mean, this train journey is nearly 3 hours, so it wouldn't be that fun to stand for 3 hours. You can also reserve a green seat, which is a lot more expensive, and that's the kind of equivalent of first class. However, if you're used to travelling on trains, especially in Britain, you'll find that the reserved seating in standard class is actually just as nice as first class in Britain. So don't worry too much about that. The other really useful feature of this website is, as well as telling you the time the train departs and leaves, it tells you what platform the train is planning to leave from and where it will arrive. So this is really, really useful if you're going to Tokyo Station, it's really busy, there's lots of people, especially if you're going to be there in peak hour. You don't want to be like running around the station trying to work out which platform you're leaving from. So you could go on here before you go to the station and just double check where you're going to be leaving from. It also tells you where you're going to be arriving. On this search, that's not too useful because we're just going to get off in Kyoto and go to our hotel. But we could, if we were doing a transfer, say we were catching another train, we could see where the next platform was going from. So we know we're arriving on platform 14. So if we were going to catch a train at 1 o'clock, if that train was going from platform 1, that might be a bit of a rush to get across the whole of Kyoto train station in 10 minutes. But say we found a train that was leaving from platform 13, we'd know that 13 minutes was going to be enough time to just cross over one platform. So you see there's a few different choices of route here. As well as telling us all this information about the departure and arrival times and the platforms, you can see it's got the names of each of the trains. So Hikari 467, Hikari 469, Kodama 649. The names and the numbers of the train will be very clearly visible on the train when it pulls into the station. So again, that's it's good to note this down just so you know absolutely sure you're getting on the right train. But Japanese Railway is really, really reliable. So if you are standing on platform 17 at 10:03, I can guarantee the train that pulls in will be the Shinkansen Hikari 467. I think the average delay for a train in Japan is something like 30 seconds. So yeah, if you're on the platform at 10:03, it'll be your train. The other useful feature on here is the train timetable. So this just loads up in a new window and you can see everywhere the train calls and what time it leaves and departs that station. And for the bigger stations, you can see the platform number already put in. This is perhaps more useful if you're doing a route around some of the more rural areas of Japan and you might be interested to see what possible stops you could make. So, for example, Shin Yokohama is on the outskirts of Tokyo. And depending on where you were staying, it might actually be easier to go to Shin Yokohama than go all the way to Tokyo Central Station to catch this train. But you could still get on the same train. So it's quite good if you've got any worries like that you might not be able to catch the train from precisely where you are. You've also got this interval timetable. Again, this is really useful if you're in a more rural area because it shows you every single train doing that route. So we can see they all start in Tokyo and end in Kyoto. So we can see every single train from 6 a.m. right through to 9:30 at night, nearly. So we've got the full choice of trains for that day. So obviously Tokyo to Kyoto is a very popular route, so there's lots and lots of choice of different trains. You can see you've got the slow Kodama trains that stops at every little station, the Hikari that only stops at major stations, and then the Nozomi that doesn't really stop at all until it gets to Kyoto. So seeing all these different trains is really useful if you're maybe doing a route that's a bit more rural. You might only have a choice of 2 or 3 trains that run that route over the course of the day. So being able to see when they all run allows you to double check that you're getting on the one that suits you best. So finally, you can see the fare here. and then the total fare here. So that includes your fare for the train and your seat fee added together. So you can see the price for a single ticket on this route. If you are thinking about getting a rail pass, it's really worth going through your itinerary, finding out how much all the trains are going to cost you, and then adding that up to see whether the rail pass represents good value. Generally, if you do more than 3 trips on the train, so maybe Tokyo to Kyoto, Kyoto to Hiroshima, and then back to Tokyo, you're going to be looking at it being cheaper on the rail pass. But this is a really good way to just check exactly what you'll be paying to take the train as a single ticket, including your seat fee, which is included in your rail pass. And then you can just double check that the price means you're getting the best deal by buying either single tickets or the rail pass, depending on how many trips you're going to make. So if you do get a rail pass, another thing we would really recommend doing is writing down all these numbers and the times and dates of the train, because not all the staff in Japan Rail stations speak brilliant English. So if you go in with a bit of paper that says you want to get the Shinkansen Hikari 467, leaving Tokyo at 10:03, going to Kyoto at 12:47 on the 20th of August, then that just makes it a lot easier for the clerk at the station to book you onto that train. You don't have to worry about it getting lost in translation or getting booked on the wrong train. If you take the time, the date in, and the train name and number, you'll get on exactly the train you think you're trying to get on. So that is our top tips on how to use Hyperdia to plan your itinerary around Japan, and how to use Hyperdia to also check whether the Japan Rail Pass or buying tickets singularly is the best deal for you. So I hope that's been helpful, and we'll see you soon. Bye.